Hello. So I wanted to do a video about pets. Somebody was asking me about like how I rank pets. I actually did a video about this, but it was like over a year ago now. So it might be time for a new one. We've had a new pet since then. So it's kind of just time to talk about the pets and how I rank them. Generally speaking, I rank Axel as the best pet in the game because, well, he generally is. His Bubbles of Justice is one of the defining abilities of the meta game, and he is the most popular pet to use actively on your team, and just generally the best pet, which is so I highly recommend him. For most players, this should be the first pet you develop. Right, and this is before we even talk about some of his other abilities, right? His patronage skill, Defensive Blob, is also very good. Because this represents one-shot kills. So you can put this on one of your squishy heroes, like say Celeste or Lars or whatever, and this will protect them from being hit one-shot killed by a lot of heroes. There are heroes like Cornelius that can target a Celeste, for example, but if you have defensive blob on it, Cornelius can't one-shot her. So this is also a very good patronage ability, and Healthy Snack, like I said, also increases healing if he's the active combat pet. This matters a lot. I'll talk a bit more about this in a second, but this is also a very good ability. It's just a very good package of abilities, which is why I say he is the best pet in the game. The next pet I recommend is actually going to be it's a bit harder to choose here, but I'm going to do Oliver just because, right, he's not that great as an actual combat pet, but his patronage skill, Eternal Bloom, is one of the best patronage abilities in the game. This is good on your main tank or just like a number of supports. This allows regen when the hero is at low health. Right, remember this is every half second, so 1164. So that's 22,000 healing a second. If you have Axel the active pet, this can be 32,000 healing a second because Axel has the healthy snack. So Oliver compares very well with Axel. Which is part of the reason why I say Oliver second, because Axel is so common. So we rate Oliver as the second best pet. Third best pet, I'm going to go with Albus, and this has a lot to do with his ult here. This does pure damage to the enemy. This is very important for like guild boss. This is really good for a lot of PvE content. It's okay actual like PvP, and his pure victory is also a really good patronage ability. And right, I said, so if you use like a hero like Sebastian or whatever, they can do a lot of pure damage because this pretty much almost effectively doubles the pure damage because Albus also buffs magic and physical attacks. So generally speaking, he pretty much essentially almost doubles the pure damage just because he also buffs the attack stat as well. So this is really good on Maya. This is good on Sebastian. This is good on so many heroes. It's very good at helping the hero's DPS go. So I just rank him as probably as the third best pet. Fourth best has to go to Cain. Cain's main reason I have Cain, well, so we can talk about his Visibility Mastery is pretty set. He's the only pet who actually does something right out of the gate. This is a passive ability that's dodged to the entire team. So, like, your whole, like I said, this gives up, an evasion boost to physical attackers, to the whole team. Like I said, if he's fully maxed out, this is a pretty big boost. It's, depending on, like I said, the other hero, like, this might be, like, 17%, 16% full against fully maxed out heroes. Not a big deal, but 1 in 6 chance of dodging a hit, does add up. This is said there's some times you might want to use him over Axel. This is pretty good. Night Veins, this can do some damage versus certain heroes. If, like I said, in the old days, this was a way to counter Rufus with mage teams. You would just time it. It's not so great post-ascension because a lot of heroes have so much armor these days, and Cain doesn't quite have enough armor pen for against some of them, but sometimes this ability is okay. It's great in PvE content, like adventures and stuff, but the main reason to invest in Cain is this ability here, Dark Patron. So you put this on a dodge. So if you put Cain on a dodge hero, such as Aurora, every time they dodge, they gain almost 35% energy. So that means if Cain's maxed out, 3 successful dodges equals full energy, which allows them to ult. So this is really good on heroes like Aurora, Dante, Yasmin, etc. Like I said, for a long time, he kind of had the nickname of called Aurora's pet because Aurora is the most common hero you most commonly see with him because she dominates. She pretty much, right, Aurora with Cain Patron, pretty much can beat a lot of physical teams. Most physical teams really struggle with the combination of Aurora and Cain. A lot of the same with like Dante, You can also struggle there. So he's just really good. This ability is probably one of the best patron skills abilities because it just gives so much energy. It's such a huge boost. This is why I'd rank him the 4th best pet. And after that, now it starts to get pretty gets a lot more difficult to choose because you can make good cases for any of these 3. But I'm gonna say Mara is the next best because, right, Deadly Weakness is really good. Like, this is 3 times status effect. Yes, Sebastian and stuff makes this harder. Right, and, Biscuit, you can make a case that Biscuit's the 5th because he makes it easier for Mara to do stuff, but you actually don't need a lot of investment in Biscuit to make that good. And he's pretty meh otherwise. Like, the actual ability is not that good. It's just used for stripping Ode. Like, the reason you want to do that, though, is because Mara's actually good. So I rank Mara as the 5th best. Mind Control's not a bad one. This is kind of funny versus Luther. If you ever seen Mara hit Luther with a Mind Control, like if he's already jumped to the middle of your team, Luther will casually walk back towards the other side of the board, which is funny. Like I said, this is, like I said, and also this does, like I said, she uses this, I want to say about once every 7 seconds. Like I said, she uses about twice as often as her ults. Dark Guard just does magic damage. It does triple damage. There's a status effect. Not that great. Mind Control is the main reason you want to use her as a combat pet. I wouldn't really recommend her that much, but in this era where we can actually strip Ode, Mind Control is not a bad ability. But the main reason you want her is Deadly Weakness. And this brings us to, I'd say, the 6th best pet. Right, this speeds up gives a 50% spell haste to damage abilities on magic users. It's just damage abilities, so a lot of people have confusion about which abilities this hits. Like for Celeste, this increases the speed which she does her Cursed Flame. For Krista, this increases the speed for which she drops her Ice Shards. Right, for other heroes, this increases like pretty much all their damage abilities. Like the other thing to note about Merlin is the only pet that offers magic penetration. So this is just like I said, it's the only pet that offers magic penetration. So this could be really good for a number of heroes like Helios, who doesn't have very good magic penetration, or Krista, etc. Also Celeste, like this can be enough magic penetration for Celeste to do max damage to most heroes. Like Astaroth will mitigate, if it has enough magic defense to mitigate Celeste. But if you put Merlin Patron on Celeste, she now does max damage, etc. The other abilities on Merlin, kind of okay, like Magnus Magica. This does magic damage to everyone, but also puts a distortion on. Remember, this is a field effect, so this does not get blocked by anything because it's a field effect. There's nothing that blocks field effects yet in this game. So this lasts for 5 seconds, so allows the magic damage dealers to deal more damage that 5 seconds. So Merlin's still pretty good as a combat pet. You could probably also make a case that Merlin's 5th. Decreases the magic defense in near sun. This one is a debuff. This ability doesn't do much because, again, there's so many things that block status effects around. So, like I said, this is okay. But the main reason, like I said, this is so they're all kind of okay abilities. They're not great. Why I rate Merlin is 6th. 7th is Biscuit, right? The main reason you have Biscuit is Stay and Chill, his patron ability. This is, like I said, you put this here. It also reduces healing, which is not bad, but only reduces by 30% when he's maxed out. Like I said, the business ability of him is that this is 100% effect anytime for all damage dealing abilities. Puts this debuff on, which strips Ode to Serenity off enemy teams. I've put this on Maya, Aurora, or any hero that has like multiple AE abilities. This ability will strip off Ode to Serenity quick. As a combat pet, I think he's pretty meh. I don't really recommend him as combat pet. I just like this like thing can prevent some healing, except unless it's vampirism based, so it's kind of meh. Like I said, there's just better pets to use in combat, so I don't really recommend them. And then the worst pet in the game is Fenris. Like, there's just not a lot of reason to use him. He does AE physical damage, and he blinds for 3 seconds, which is okay. I mean, I guess it does you can help take off some of Ode, but with combat, like I said, it's just not needed. Helpless targets, if an enemy is blinded, they take extra damage, but his blind only lasts 3 seconds. And again, you have to be able to strip Ode, so you really have to use Biscuit Patron or something else to strip Ode. To make use of this, it only lasts 3 seconds, and his Patron skill fully maxed, it only has a 40% chance of happening, and only have to have with the hero's basic attack. So this is just the worst patronage ability. The other thing to note is that his stats, right? He's the only pet that adds armor pen. But he adds less physical attack than Cain does. Cain adds 9957.6, whereas Fenris only adds 69.70 physical attack, so he adds less physical attack as well. So he's just kind of meh. He adds armor pen. That's the main reason you would use him, but I rate him as the worst pet, like, because he just, like, even the heroes you want to use him on, like, say you want to use him on Jew or something, like, a lot of times you just don't need it. A lot of times they have enough armor pen anyway. It helps. Just like I said, physical attackers are kind of in a bad place, so it's just, he's just not needed. Like, you can honestly skip Fenris for pretty much, 90%. Like, 90% of you could almost totally skip Fenris. He's just not that great. He's okay, but I put him last priority on ranking. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative. Thank you for watching.